Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I see you again. We met each other before last week, and today is my second time to talk about another different, I think, different context, but still, I will try to share with you the concept, these two concepts from the sociological as well as some Islamic input in our discussion today. So I don't have much time. Okay, it should be less than 40 minutes, but I will try. I have actually prepared several, but I hope I can cover everything. If not, then we will just try to give in a very quite not to be discussed at length. Okay, we have actually listened to Dr. Tunku Mohar. It's quite hot. I saw in the chat box questions and critics. So I think I need to mellow down a bit. Okay, and we try to look at from two different contrasting terms, how cooperation will be and how conflict occur in the society. So this is a course description, but I don't think I am able to. I will try my best to finish all the three points of course description today. Okay, so I start with the definition of cooperations. Not basically a definition, it's an explanation of what cooperation is. Okay. From my right side, we will try to define cooperation as referring to the process of working together towards a common goal or purpose. Okay, it involves individuals or groups joining effort, sharing resources, and coordinating their actions to achieve a collective outcome. Just like in my last week's discussion, okay, we will take a look at both cooperation and conflict from the micro level, from the meso level, and from the macro level. Okay, from the micro level, an example is in the workplace or in class. Okay, the cooperation on a team project. Okay, members of a team will cooperate among themselves in order to achieve a project, a business project, or any kind of project. Okay, at meso level, at community level, okay, neighbors, for example, working together to maintain a community garden. This is cooperation. At international relations, okay, or at the macro level, countries cooperating on global issues like climate change or public health. In Islamic perspective, cooperation is known as ta'awun, okay, that refers to working together for the common good and supporting each other in various aspects of life, okay, that promotes unity, solidarity, mutual support within the community. Okay. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 6, Allah said, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Okay, it means, and cooperate in righteousness and piety, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression, and fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is severe in penalty. Okay, this condition of cooperation, okay, is to enjoin people for the struggle in order to achieve the mission of having of good faith to God. Okay, this cooperation here is partly the struggle for the physical cooperation with others. Okay, and for the other part, it is a struggle for the spiritual and moral perfection of society as a whole. Okay, for the sake of society itself, and as also for the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is actually the very mission of cooperation, okay, in Islamic perspective. Not only for the worldly mission, but more importantly is for the blessing from Allah. Conflict, on the other hand, okay, is referred to as a state of disagreement or opposition between individual, groups, or entities, typically arising from differences in opinion, interest, value, or needs. Okay, and it can be manifested in various forms. Okay, ranging from mild disagreement to intense dispute. Okay, in which it can occur in many contexts, at the personal relationship, workplaces, communities, okay, international relation. Okay, at the international relations, sometimes it can result to this conflict. Okay, at the international relations, sometimes can resort to war. Okay, in Islam, conflict is recognized as a natural part of human interaction. Why? Because Islam acknowledges that every individual is unique in respect of the way they undergo the process of socialization, and as well as the environmental factor, okay, that influence, okay, their upbringing. Okay, and this uniqueness normally can become the breeding ground of conflicts between individuals, between communities, between society. Yeah? And it is actually a fact of life that we cannot just simply ignore. Islamic teaching provide guidance on how to address and resolve conflict in a manner that aligns with the principle of justice, compassion, and mutual respect. Okay? In Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah 10 to ayah 9, okay? Because the ayah is quite long, so I think I will give you a translation. Okay, in Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah 9, and if two groups of believers fight each other, then make peace between them. But if one of them transgress against the other, then fight against the transgressing group until they are willing to submit to the rule of Allah. If they do so, then make peace between both groups in all fairness and act justly. Surely Allah loves those who uphold justice. Okay? And in addition to how we resolve conflict, okay, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Sahih al-Bukhari, book 43, number 624, okay, as being narrated by Anas, okay, the Prophet said, "Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or he is an oppressed one." Okay, people ask, "Oh Allah, oh Allah's Prophet, it is all right to help him if he is oppressed. But how should we help him if he is an oppressor?" So the Prophet said, by preventing him from oppressing others. Okay, and this is how Islam teach us how that we can resolve conflict. Help directly, okay, cooperate directly with the oppressed, and we can also cooperate indirectly with this oppressor by preventing him from oppressing others. Now, between conflict and cooperation, okay, there's always a dynamic interplay between the two, because both are actually part of the functioning of any society. Okay. Understanding the dynamic interplay of cooperation, okay, help us to understand or to go on how to shape our human interaction. Okay, we don't live alone. As human beings, we are bound to interact with others. Okay, and being unique creation, okay, we always encounter with other people, and we sometimes may have disagreement with them, and that creates conflict. But conflicts will dealing with conflict can result in cooperation. Overdoing cooperation can also result in conflict. So there's always a dynamic interplay between cooperation and conflict. Now, the first form of this dynamic interplay is complementary roles between cooperation and conflict, because both can coexist at the same time. While cooperation builds unity, conflict can drive change and innovation by challenging the status quo. So it came, or both comes at the same time. Okay. Conflict can also be a catalyst, okay, for positive change. Okay. When the group of proletarians, as mentioned by Karl Marx, okay, are trying to improve their life, okay, they work together, okay, in overthrowing capitalist ideologies. So they can, okay, through and that was done through revolution, okay, in order to establish a new society called equal society, okay, where society are built, okay, without a individual, a private property. Okay, the property belongs to people. Okay. Cooperation, okay, play the role, okay, as a mediation in resolving conflict. Okay, it is done through effective communication, negotiation, mediation, arbitration. Okay. And these are the cooperative strategies used to manage and resolve conflict. So, cooperation, resolve conflict. Conflict, okay, can bring impact to positive change that is towards cooperation. Okay, so it will lead to stronger relationships and system. Okay, sociology is a discipline that along studying it, okay, students are exposed to also explore the theories developed in understanding society. Okay, how society began, okay, how society maintains its existence. Okay, and in sociology we have three meta theories, okay, that we always discuss, okay, in order to trying to understand more about society. Three meta theories are structural functionalist, conflict theories, and symbolic interactionist theories. Okay, in all of these three meta theories, okay, it's either directly discuss about cooperation, indirectly about conflict, or directly about conflict but indirectly also discuss about cooperation. For example, the first theory or meta theory is structural functionalist theory, okay, that views society. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. Okay, functionalist theory views society as a complex society whose parts work together to promote stability and social order. So here, cooperation is seen as very essential in maintaining the equality and the equilibrium and the balance of society's existence. Okay, here Emil Durkheim, one of the proponents of this theory, he introduced the concept of social solidarity and how it can be achieved. Okay. According to Durkheim, humans are inherently egoistic. Okay, and through collective consciousness, through this cooperation, okay, for example, cooperation towards in norms, beliefs, and values, it forms the moral basis of the society. So collective consciousness through cooperation is therefore the key importance to the society, okay, and become a requisite function, okay, in which without it, the society cannot survive. Okay. In this theory, okay, Durkheim distinguished between mechanical solidarity, okay, and organic solidarity. Okay, mechanical solidarity was an integration in the society that based on cooperation, okay, due to the similarities, okay, of the members. While organic solidarity is also a cooperation that is based on different skill or differences, okay, between members of that society. Okay, normally we refer to as a more complex modern society. Okay. So this is directly about cooperation. Okay, but okay, in this theory also, okay, though it directly discuss about cooperation, it also indirectly discuss about conflict. Okay, collective consciousness, okay, was only being realized when there are conflict. Okay, this theory acknowledged that conflict can serve a positive function by contributing to social change and adaptation. Okay, social integration is a product of conflict between various groups. Okay, let's say in organic solidarity, okay, in which we are practicing it in a modern society. Okay, people are related among others, okay, with the skill that they have, with the different skill that they have. Okay, in which this different skill, okay, can cause conflict, but then it is used as a way of how cooperation works with others. Okay. In building, to build a building, okay, without the different skill in technology and vocational, okay, a building cannot be built. Okay, you must have expertise, okay, in engineering, okay, in architecture, in quantity surveying, in order to build just one building. Okay. At first, there are conflict because there are difference. They are very unique from one to another. But then when they work together, they can build a building. Okay. Furthermore, in the process of social change, society adapt and evolve through conflict and resolution, okay, for all cooperation, okay, within social institution as well as between institutions. Now, the next theory is a conflict theory. Now, conflict theory actually directly, by the name itself, okay, you can see that this theory is all about conflict. Okay, and the society is based on the conflict that occur in history. Okay, the dialectical materialism. In history, humans are always in conflict, in competitions, okay, towards gaining the natural resources. Okay, so in the society, okay, it is always in a state of perpetual conflict due to competition for limited resources. This theory emphasizes the role of power, inequality, and social stratification in generating conflict. Okay. For Karl Marx, he emphasized that this conflict, okay, occur between different social classes, between the people who have, okay, and between the group who have not, okay, because they are in a competition for limited resources, okay, between the bourgeoisie and the proletarians, between the owner of means of production and the workers, okay, of the means of production. Okay. So here, the struggle, the conflict that happens is because of the limited resources. Okay. In other words, we can say it is due to economy. Okay. Conflict perspective also, there is, after Karl Marx, okay, another group of Karl Marx follower led by Max Weber, his students, okay, extend the idea of this conflict in the society that also include the struggle for status, for power, okay, the conflict that happened between people of different religion, different race, okay, that also can also induce conflict in the society. Okay. Indirectly, this conflict, if it is resolved properly, can lead to cooperation among people. And sometimes, okay, those who are in conflict, okay, those who are between the group who are in conflict, okay, in each of the group, okay, in order to achieve their resolution, will also cooperate together in either toppling down the other, okay, or to win the case against the other. Okay, so while conflict happened, okay, conflict theory also acknowledged that cooperation can emerge from those who share interests, okay, in seeking social change. In the case of Karl Marx theory of conflict, okay, it showed how, okay, workers work together, okay, and then being guided by Karl Marx, okay, who reminds them, who try to convince them that all their life, okay, they work for the bourgeoisies, they are actually being lied. They have been given false consciousness that they work for them because this is the only job you can do. Okay. So Marx convinced them that although they are the workers, they can also have their own way to change their fate. Okay? And then to revolt against those who oppress them. Okay? He told them that all this while, workers were being isolated from what they do, from their own self, which it will be a very long discussion. So I will limit that it's all about how the oppressor oppress by isolating them from their own self, their own creativity, okay, oppress from socialize, from their own friends, okay. So this need to be stopped. So they cooperate together, okay, through class struggle. Okay, where cooperation among members of the working class to challenge and change oppressive structures. Okay, and this cooperation become a strategy to balance power and achieve collective goals. Although at the end of the day, communism did not survive, but change has happened. And the last meta theory is symbolic interactionist theory. Okay, the theory that actually not focusing on cooperation and conflict, it's more on the social realities of and social constructionism. Okay, but so it can be both. Okay, people can decide whether this social realities is to be seen through cooperation or through conflict. Okay, because this theory focuses on the meaning and symbols that individuals have to their social interaction. Okay. Cooperation can arise from shared understanding and communication. Cooperation is facilitated by face-to-face interaction, okay, and the interpretation of symbol. Today, okay, we need to extend the idea of how cooperation can be facilitated even, okay, through digital platform. Okay, but interaction still happening. Okay. Also, by understanding others' perspective, it can also promote empathetic and cooperative behavior through role taking. Everyone is responsible. Okay. Every encountering part is responsible in promoting empathic and cooperative behavior through interaction. Okay, and through interpretation of the symbol. Now, when the interpretation of the symbol is indirect, it wrongly perceived, conflict can happen. Okay, so another branch of symbolic interactionism is social constructionism. Okay, that focus on how social realities are constructed through language and interaction, leading to different perception and potential conflict. Okay. How we interact with others, how that symbolic information that we share may not be perceived similar to what we agreed. Okay, so conflicts is actually a social construct, how other people construct or interpret the symbol. Realities created through social interaction and shared understanding. But sometimes that understanding is not being perceived correctly by the other part or by the other parties. Okay. When disagreement arising from different social construction of reality, then conflict of perception appear. Okay, so this is basically how theories developed in an attempt to make us understand what is cooperation and conflict in the society. Okay, now let's see. I will try to discuss first the types, the causes, and the consequences of cooperation. Then we move to a new discussion on conflict from the types, the causes, and the consequences of conflict. Okay. There are several types. There are many types of cooperation. Okay. Time does not permit me to discuss in detail all these 13 types. So I will just mention to you in brief. Okay. Direct cooperation, indirect cooperations, which normally involve people who are working together. Okay. Directly working together or indirectly not working together, maybe from different company, but trust in cooperation between two different companies or two different parties. That formal cooperation is normally a structured and organized collaboration. For example, a partnership between businesses, having this MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, Memorandum of Agreement, MOA. Informal cooperation is more unstructured cooperation. Normally, it is spontaneous collaboration, but based on mutual understanding and goodwill. Okay, like in Malaysia, we have this rukun tetangga, this cooperation among the members of the neighborhood. Okay, for monitoring the safety of the neighborhood. And then horizontal cooperation, the cooperation among those who of the same hierarchical level. Okay, and vertical cooperation is a collaboration between individuals or group of different hierarchical levels that normally involve a power dynamic. Okay. Next is intra-organizational cooperation is the cooperation within the same organization, among the staff in the company, among the staff in the company, and among the people in the same department or in the same organization. And then inter-organizational cooperations normally is a cooperation between different organizations, like non-government organizations partnering with governments to deliver humanitarian aid. okay, to Gaza, okay, or in many parts of the world. Symbiotic cooperation is a mutual cooperation where different parties benefits from each other. Okay, like here we have this Cellcom DG, okay, the communication technology companies collaborating to integrate their product for mutual benefit. So that with this cooperation between DG and Cellcom, okay, the two gigantic communication technology companies, okay, work together, cooperate together to expand the connections so that it will be for mutual benefit to the users and to the companies. And then competitive cooperation is a cooperation where parties work together despite being competitors. Okay, normally we can see in political parties, a political group that form alliance. Okay, they are from different parties. Okay, but then they form alliance. Okay, so that why one in that alliance, when they are together, they can work together in competition with other political parties who are not in the alliance. So this is often for mutual benefit in specific areas. Okay. Also in businesses. And then community cooperation. This is within a community to achieve common goal, which is very easy. International cooperations. Okay, this is cooperation between countries or international organization. We have United Nations. We have just now we talk about D8. Okay, we have at South. Okay, these are international cooperation, and finally is the technological cooperations. Is a collaborations in the field of technology to develop, to share or improve technological innovations. Okay, sometimes it can be in a form of joint research project between university and technology, the knowledge transfer, okay, project in order to develop new technologies. And if you look at this, these types of cooperations actually highlight the diverse ways in which either individuals, communities, groups, organizations, countries can work together in achieving common goals and to also address shared challenges together. What are the causes of cooperation? There are many causes of cooperations. I highlight 11 of it, but there are many more. Okay, cooperation can arise from various causes. Okay, but basically it stems from the need or the desire to achieve common goals. Okay, number one, to achieve common goals. Number two, to address shared challenges. How can we encounter the challenges? And number three is for the benefit for all. Okay, I see these are the three important ones, but there are also other costs. Okay, which I can of course briefly share with you. Okay, apart from shared goals, objective, mutual benefit. Okay, and the other one is to share challenges, the external threats or challenges. They are also, the cost can also be to develop social bonds and relationships. Okay. Example, community members collaborating on neighborhood improvement project. Okay. Like modern garden, okay, for the benefit of the whole. And then cultural and social norms. For example, traditional practice of communal farming in rural communities. Okay, so they work together. They value cooperation and collective action, in which it encourages individuals and individuals to work together within a community. Economic incentive. Economic incentive can be a cost saving and profit sharing, which can also drive cooperation. For example, companies collaborating on research and development to reduce costs and share technological advancement. Okay. Next one, the next course is for communication and understanding. Okay, having effective communication between groups, okay, through regular meetings and clear communication channels to coordinate their effort. And that can only be done when everyone cooperates. Another cause of cooperation is institutional support. Okay. International organizations such as United Nations, okay, need to foster cooperation between countries, okay, in order to facilitate the need to help the other countries. Every members of the United Nations need to play their role and to cooperate. Cooperation is also needed, okay, for ethical and moral consideration. Okay. For example, a volunteer working together in humanitarian aids and effort, okay, for the sake of ethical and moral belief, okay, to help others and to contribute to common good and motivating more cooperation from others, so that when people see you, okay, people when see you how you struggle to help other people who are in need, those who can't help using their power, their deed can also help through donations. Okay, so cooperation among those people who can help physically is important in becoming the role model for those who can also cooperate in other ways. Strategic interests. Another cause for cooperation is for strategic interests, to recognize that cooperation can lead to long-term advantages and stability, and to drive collaborative effort. Okay. Nations, like we have these BRICS, and then we have D8, we have ASEAN. Okay, next year, 2035, Malaysia will be the chairmanship for ASEAN 2025 for another 5 years. Okay, how that these nations, the 8 countries in Asia, in Southeast Asia, form alliances to ensure mutual security and economic growth through cooperation. Okay, and the last one is the psychological factors. Okay, to form a social identity. Okay, to possess a sense of belongingness to a group, okay, or to a community. Okay. That's why and the need for social identity cause us to cooperate, okay, in order to maintain group cohesion. Okay. For example, in sports, okay, in sports, in either Olympics, Olympic Games, SEA Games, Asian Games, or badminton games, whatever games, okay, sports team cooperating to achieve victory for their country, for their club, okay, for their state, okay, so that they can have a very strong sense of belongingness as they are representing their country. Okay. The more they do it, the more they have this feeling of strong social identity for their country, for their beloved country or state or club. Okay. Now, cooperation is not just simply positive. Okay. Sometimes cooperation can also result to conflict. It can result to be a conflict. conflict of interest, conflict of value. Okay. So there are several consequences of cooperation, which I can divide into positive and negative consequences. Okay, so here I list down some of the positive consequences. I'm running out of time. I'm looking at the time. Okay, which I'm not going to explain to you. Okay, I think it is enough for you to see, and you will see what are the positive consequences. If you overdo cooperation, it will lead to conflict. Okay. Now I want to move to the types of conflict. There are 5 types of conflict: interpersonal conflict, intrapersonal conflict, intergroup conflict. Interpersonal is the conflict between individuals due to their differences in opinion. Intrapersonal conflict is the conflict within you. Okay, and normally this conflict is due to your conflicting desires and your conflicting emotion. Okay, the decision that you make within you. Intergroup conflict is the conflict between groups or teams or countries. Okay. Organizational conflict is the hierarchical conflict. The conflict within organization, okay, the dispute due to resource allocation, leadership, or policy disagreement. And finally, this international conflict between countries, okay, disagreement, disputes between countries, okay, involving political, economic, or cultural differences. And the causes of conflict can also be varied, but not as many as cooperation. Okay, the main cause of conflict is resource scarcity, the valued resources. Okay, and then the differing values, okay, in terms of the belief, okay, the cultural norms, the religious values. Okay, it can also cause conflict. Another cause of conflict is communication issues. Okay, the misunderstanding or poor communication that can also lead to disagreement. Sometimes it's due to language differences, can also cause conflict. Next one is power dynamic as a cause. Okay, struggles for control, struggle for influence and authority. Okay, in politics as well as in economy, there always exists this conflict of power dynamic. Okay, and finally is the psychological factor, which can also become the cause of conflict. Okay, such as stress, emotion, and personality clashes between individual, between groups, between communities, and can also between the leadership of countries. And the consequences of conflict, okay, can also be seen here. Okay, conflict is normally attached to or led to a more negative consequences. Okay, but what we don't realize is that conflict can also result in positive consequences, a positive change that is through for cooperation. Okay, so see here, negative consequences: stress and anxiety, decreased productivity, and of course, damaged relationship. But conflict can also lead to another positive change, like the ability to resolve problems, the change and innovation, and the strengthening of relationship. After conflict, people may want to cooperate and strengthen the relationship. Now, if we are in conflict, there are several strategies of doing it. Okay, may it at the micro level, meso level, or macro level. Okay, at least 5 ways of how conflict can be, or 5 strategies of how conflict can be resolved. Number 1 is through negotiation. Okay, so it's basically the way people mutually accepting way of solving their differences. Okay, and this is basically through discussion between parties that are in conflict. Okay, for example, in the East China Sea dispute between China and Japan, Okay, lots of negotiation were conducted, okay, in order to solve the problem. And then the second one is through mediation. Okay, is where third party helps to facilitate discussion and resolution. Okay, for example, solving it at the micro level. Okay, mediators is used. Okay, or mediators play a role in solving conflict between married couple. Okay, in Islam we call this process as the sulh. Okay, the mediation before you go to the next level, that is to the court of justice. Okay, last time in history, the one of the significant history that is treated through mediation is during the confrontation between Indonesia and Malaysia in 1962 until 1965. Okay, the mediation that happened between two countries. Which I'm not going to explore further. Okay. Next is arbitration. Okay. It is basically a third party makes a binding decision to resolve the conflict. Okay. At the micro levels, when the husband refused to give the talak, okay, and the wife, okay, see that she is being oppressed, she is being abused, so she appealed the court to decide, okay, to give fasakh, okay, this decision. So the court is the arbitrators, a third party that makes a binding decision to resolve the conflict, okay, because when the dispute happened between two parties, okay, they agree to have a neutral person, okay, that to settle their dispute based on the agreed upon norms and rules. Collaboration. Collaboration is when both parties work together to find a win-win solution to satisfy everyone's needs and then resolve conflict. And the last one is through compromise, okay, where both party or each party give up something to reach a mutually acceptable solution. Okay. Now, by understanding conflict and its dynamic, it is crucial for effectively managing and resolving dispute, okay, from micro into the larger social context. Okay. No, I don't have time, but should I? Just to give you some idea about the establishment of Islamic State in Medina, which was based, or which was built based on cooperation between Ansar and Muhajirun, and then between people who lives in Medina at that time. Okay, now the cooperation has its significant impact, okay, from Hijrah, okay, because from there, after Hijrah, there is a sense of strong cooperation between people, starting with the building of mosques. Okay. Before the Prophet even arrived to the center of Medina, okay, he arrived in a place, a neglected land, where he asked the Muhajirin and the Ansar to build a mosque, a very simple mosque. And they did it in cooperation together. Okay. And the mosque become a place where everything is done there. Right from the praying place to the decision to be made for the benefit of all people in Medina. And then the next thing that the Prophet did to fraternize the Muhajirin and the Ansar under the concept of mu'akhad, or brotherhood. Okay, this is also, okay, to develop a sense of integration and cooperation between the group of Ansar, okay, and the group of Muhajirun. Ansars were tested, okay, to help people who have nothing with them at that time. Okay, and this is actually a test for them, a challenge for our corporations. Once it is done, okay, the brotherhood is strengthened, The next thing that the Prophet did is to develop an Islamic alliance agreement. This one is not only between Ansar and Muhajirin, but also between those people and the Jewish people. Okay, this is called as Mithaq al-Madinah. And everything is done with the cooperation of everyone who lives in Medina at that time. Okay, and because before the coming of the Prophet, okay, there a continuous conflict happened between the people who live in Yathrib at that time, the old name of Medina. Okay, and this conflict triggered those group of people from Yathrib who went for pilgrimage to Mecca to find the Prophet on how to resolve the issue of this conflict that they have been facing in their life. Okay, and these are the three things that the Prophet did in order to resolve the issue of conflict that happened in Medina. So as a conclusion, the intricate dance of cooperation and conflict forms the backbone of human society. Okay? It becomes a driving progress and challenging our resilience. Both cooperation and conflict are essential elements of the human experience and the human interaction, okay? Because it shapes the way we communicate with others. It shapes the way we influence, okay, our own development. Okay? And then it also shapes the way we drive societal progress. So by embracing the positive aspect of both, we can build a world that can value unity and diversity. And we can understand people, whether they are similar or they are different from us. We can live in harmony and in progress. Okay? So this complexity can be easily understood. Okay? And having a balanced collective well-being for us today and in the future. Okay, so that's me. I still exceed the 45 minutes, the 40 minutes.
Yeah, Doctor. Thank you very much. Doctor, we have many questions here, but you can pick up one or two only, Doctor, because we have passed the time already.
Okay, let me see.
Sorry.
Chat here. All right. I don't see
in the chat box, Doctor.
What about husband and wife cooperation? They don't live together if they do not cooperate. The survival of marriage should be based on cooperation. If you are to cooperations, cooperation does not mean that you have an equal function. Cooperation here between husband and wife is when you have a complementary function that you have between you and your husband. You don't do their jobs, they don't do their job, but you work together. The best cooperation is the one showed by the ends. Okay. It's already been mentioned in Surah An-Nahl. Okay. There is even a surah on ends, okay, in Quran, okay, that show how the cooperations can work, okay, in groups, in social group, if we are to work together. Okay. But for ends, it's actually the cooperation being shown by ends is the cooperation based on similarities. That it fulfill the integration between ends. Because of their similarity, they work together. But we see today's life or today's world is a world that is based on a more complex, a more unique differences between people. None of us, or most of us, not most of us, are in our own specialization, which is partly the work of the Western. Okay, we are being specialized. If you look at our Muslim scholars, Avicenna, for example, Ibn Khaldun. Okay, Ibn Khaldun is a politician as well as a mufti as well. They can play, they can actually uphold many functions, but not the Western perspective. Okay, it always to be a discipline. Okay, only one discipline that you should specialize. Okay. So in the academic world today, okay, we are going towards the de-Westernization of knowledge. Okay, we can't just simply this actually create more complications, more differences, okay, and more complexity of modern life. Yes, Prof. Western power cooperate with each other in genocide against Palestine. Okay, we know it from the very beginning. Okay, what they are doing. Okay, the agreement between, it's not only about the Westerns. Okay, it's actually the Jewish, okay, and the Christians who actually want to have a pact against Islam is actually had been told to us, okay, right from the beginning, okay, that until the Yawm al-Akhirah, they will always want to destroy us, okay, and Palestine is the place, okay, because in the beginning, okay, Palestine is a country, okay, but then it was being given some of it to the Jewish people to come and stay, okay, and that was the beginning in 1948 when it was the beginning where they try to widen their territories illegally, okay. The chance that they were given, okay, was actually being planned, not now, but for a very long time ago, okay, since the end of the Osmani Caliphate, okay, the World War I, they have started to think, okay, about making this place, this country, as part of the Jewish country. This is not something new. The occupation have been done not only now, but it was since before, since a century ago. I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your